Hey everybody, this is Dream, and today we're going to be doing a breakdown of the NBA slate here on the PREGAME Fantasy app. This is a new app that I recently discovered that has a different twist on daily fantasy sports. So I'll go ahead and show you exactly how it works first. So basically, they have guaranteed games every single day, and they are also have no rake, which is really interesting. And so basically how it works is the scoring is very similar to DraftKings for NBA. Each sport's a little bit different on how it works, but for NBA there are 10 options, 10 outcomes to look at. Basically you're comparing two players head to head. And then what we're going to do there is we're going to pick the players that we like the best between the two players to score the fantasy points in that game. So for instance, you'll see here at the top I have Wendell Carter Jr. and Harrison Barnes for the Orlando-Sacramento game, and I can choose either player, and whichever player I think is going to score the most fantasy points, I'll click on to change there, and then I can rank each matchup based on how confident I am up and down here to decide which guy I like the best. Now, the way this works is that if you're correct about your pick, then whatever the confidence points is what you get, and then at the end of the day, as the games play, you'll see live updates, obviously, on the app here, but at the end, whoever has the most actual points wins, and so I'll show you this real quick here. So basically, there's the payout structure. The top 20 people will get at least $10, and like I said, scoring is almost identical to DraftKings, and it is guaranteed. No matter how many people get into the match, it can be up to 40 on this particular option, and you can also have up to 5 entries yourself, and then you can pick your players and see how to do. Now, one thing I'll note is that I have a promo code for you called DREAM, and if you use that, you'll get a deposit bonus up to $50 on the app itself. And so basically, you just got to go through here, and we're going to look at each situation here, and I'm going to tell you my thoughts on why I've got the pick currently. Obviously, some of these are subject to change because of injury situations today, but you can actually click this little button here and kind of get the screenshot version of my picks. So first of all, we got Wendell Carter and Harrison Barnes in the Orlando game. Now, I really do think this is one of the more lopsided options on this particular slate, with Wendell Carter Jr. playing pretty well lately, and this is a plus matchup for Orlando against Sacramento, who plays fast. Harrison Barnes has been playing well, but he is kind of logjam at his position, so he doesn't tend to get as many minutes as we sometimes like, and sometimes he doesn't get the fantasy point situation that we like as well. And Carter is a little bit more consistent lately with all the injuries and guys sitting out due to suspensions and stuff for Orlando, so he's one of my favorite options on the slate. Then we're going to look at Jalen Brunson versus Drew Holiday here. Now, Brunson has been playing really well lately, and Holiday has really not been playing well. And this is not a favorable matchup, really, for either player due to the matchup. But overall, I think Brunson has this more upside as a result of him playing really well lately, especially if Barrett ends up being out. Then we're going to look at Westbrook versus Murray. Now, here's the situation here. With a lot of guards out for the Lakers, Westbrook's been playing more, especially with Davis out as well. And so he's got a little bit more upside here. Jamal Murray has been playing pretty well as well, but I think Westbrook's a little bit safer because he has a higher ceiling, and both of their floors are about the same spot for this particular game. Then we're going to look at Zach LaVine and Brogdon. Now, this doesn't look like a matchup that you would typically think would be too hard to decide on because Brogdon doesn't typically start. But if Marcus Smart is out today, then Brogdon can definitely make this matchup more interesting. I think this one's a little bit more risky than it might look on the surface, so do keep that in mind. But I do like Zach LaVine at this point. I do think Brogdon's going to get around 30 or so fantasy points, or maybe even a little bit more, but LaVine does have 50 fantasy point upside in this particular matchup. Then we're looking at De'Aaron Fox against Banchero. Now, Fox has been playing extremely well lately. Banchero has a higher ceiling, but he also has a much lower floor, and so I am, at this point, going to take a look at Fox over Banchero. And then we're going to look at Ty Jones and Brooks for Memphis and the Spurs. Now, Jones for the Spurs has been playing really well, and as long as Vassell remains out, he's getting a little bit more minutes as a result. And then Keldon Johnson might be out as well today, so he definitely looks like a little bit of a better play today. Brooks has been playing well for Memphis, but he hasn't been playing quite up to his potential, and so I'm not certain, even though it is an easier matchup for Memphis. They actually also played yesterday, so that could hurt them a little bit. So I do think he's a little bit better play, and I think he is questionable today as well. So right now I'm looking at Jones as the better option on the Spurs. Then we're going to look at the Podol versus Bain. Now, Bain, I believe, is also questionable today, and Podol is also probable. So if one of those guys ends up getting rolled out, then we're definitely going to lock in the other one, and you can just click over. And you can actually change these up to the which guy you're picking up to the start of that game, so that's at 8 p.m. So if we get late information, then you'll still be able to change those picks late in the matchup. Right now, I have Podol over Bain. Even though I think Bane would probably, if he ends up playing, will score more fantasy points, I think Podol is also I think Podol is more likely to play today. Then we have Joker against LeBron. Now, obviously, this is a power move game here. Denver over the Lakers is a very likely outcome today. The question is how much LeBron can do to keep the Lakers in it. Now, the Joker is probably going to get it close to a triple-double today, and so I think he's a viable option on this pick, though it is pretty low on this slate, because if it becomes a blowout, then either one of them could end up taking that particular pick. It's not a must-play at the top of the confidence ladder because of that reason. Then we're going to look at Jaylen Brown and DeMar DeRozan. Now, I have Brown as a little bit above DeRozan at this point, but if there's some injury situations that prop up between these two teams, then that could definitely change it. But right now, I think Jaylen Brown is in a really good spot. He's been playing pretty well lately, and I think he's got a little bit more upside than DeRozan does on this matchup. And then finally, at the bottom here, I have Giannis and Julius Randle, and I have picked Giannis, but I do think Randle actually has a more consistency lately. Giannis has got a lower floor but a higher ceiling, and Randle has been hitting over 50 fantasy points every single day for the last 2 or 3 weeks. So it is a little bit of a risky matchup here, and that's why it's at the bottom of my confidence level at this point. But I might move it up as we get closer to the slate, depending on how injuries and stuff like that. Because I do think that there could be some guys that end up sitting out from Milwaukee, but we just don't have the information yet. So with that said, guys, this is what this app is like. I'm actually going to show you what my I did a game the other day for the NBA, and I'll show you my team and stuff. And so as you can see here, on this team, Paul George and Kawhi Leonard ended up getting ruled out, and so I moved them to the top of the thing. Now, make sure to realize that you can't move your people around once the first game starts, but you can, if you're anticipating that there might be a guy that's out, then you can definitely do that. So just keep that in mind, and as you can see, the scoring is the same. There's no rake. All the games are guaranteed, and so I also got you a promo code that's called Dream, in order to get a match here, or sorry, to get you a match on your deposit. So if you have any comments or questions, feel free to leave them below. As you can see, this app has some couple things on it. It does have NFL, NBA, Major League Baseball, golf, UFC, and cricket. And I haven't played NFL yet, and the scoring structure and stuff like that is a little bit different. But on all the games, there's no rake, and they're all guaranteed. And then there's also a leaderboard for all-time ratings and last month's ratings. So make sure to come check it out. If you have any comments or questions, feel free to leave them below. Thank you for liking, commenting, subscribing, and have a nice day, guys.